We know from our history that we have got to have allies to help us accomplish any mission, to execute our national defense strategy. We do not have enough capacity to do everything by ourselves. Not even the United States, with the largest defense budget on the planet, has enough capacity to do everything by ourselves. And all of our best and most reliable allies come from Europe, as well as Canada and Australia. Germany is our most important ally in our great alliance. The brand made in Germany is so respected around the world in so many different domains. The access that Germany gives us at Ramstein Air Base, training areas at Grafenwehr and Hohenfels, the sharing of intelligence, seaports and airports that are vital for rapid reinforcement. There's so many different ways that Germany helps the United States that might not necessarily fit within the under 2%, but yet they're essential for us to carry out our national defense strategy. That's why Germany is so important. And frankly, it's the recognized leader inside the European Union. It's the industrial power. It's probably the only country in the world that could change Russian behavior. So this past summer, I spoke to several different small civic organizations in towns in South Carolina, Virginia, Georgia, Florida, and Ohio and Pennsylvania, and trying to get a sense for what Americans think about NATO, North Atlantic Treaty Organization. Why does it matter that the United States is in the alliance, the most successful alliance in the history of the world? And then specifically talking about our European allies to try to get a feeling from Americans, what their level of concern is. And what I discovered, probably 95% of the people I spoke to, once they took a look at a map, and once they heard why Germany is important to the alliance, why it's such an important ally for us, the basing that it provides, the access that it provides, people start thinking it changes their perception and understanding. And I think that highlights the fact that most Americans actually are very reasonable and practical. When they get presented with facts and maybe a different perspective, most Americans are going to be reasonable about it. Now, for sure, I would get asked a lot, well, how come Germany doesn't spend more on defense? And it's a fair question, and I think Germany should. But that's not the only metric that matters when we're talking about allies. At the end of the day, we need not just military allies, but allies in the diplomatic sphere, in the information sphere, and everything that we care about. Germany can be a partner with us on trying to achieve our strategic objectives. But just like any relationship, it takes two. Germany has a responsibility here, but the United States has to invest in that relationship. Now, people were often surprised when I would describe, well, let me tell you what Germany is doing, even if their defense spending is not what it should be, and the level of readiness in their armed forces is not what it should be. And by the way, every German officer I know in the Army, Navy, and Air Force is completely aware of this. They're embarrassed about it. They know how to do this, but they are living with the consequences of political decisions that were made 10 years ago. At the end of the Cold War, we all thought that Russia was going to be our partner. I mean, the United States went from about 300,000 troops in Germany when I was a lieutenant in northern Germany back in 1981, 82, 83, 84, 300,000 in West Germany. The Bundeswehr had 12 divisions. I mean, it was huge. You had a huge British army. We even had a large Dutch army stationed in West Germany. At the end of the Cold War, everybody began to disarm as fast as possible. I mean, people my age and a little bit younger can still remember hearing about the peace dividend. That's what we all hoped for, we thought was going to happen. Today, the U.S. Army has 30,000 soldiers, from 300,000 to 30,000 stationed in Europe. So we disarmed as fast as we could. The last American tank went home. So when you consider the decisions that were made within that context, the fact that Germany would have disarmed so significantly is a little bit more understandable. The British have done that, the Dutch have done that, but now after Russia's invasion of Ukraine in 2014, their illegal annexation of Crimea, everybody, including the Germans, have begun to increase readiness and to put more money into their defense spending, including the Germans. I was very impressed in 2016 at the NATO summit in Warsaw. This was under we were still under the Obama administration, and the Allies all committed to transitioning back to deterrence. And to have deterrence, you have to have real capability and demonstrated capability. And one of the specific decisions made was to deploy EFP, Enhanced Forward Presence Battle Groups. So multinational battalion-sized task forces, about 1,000 soldiers, into Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, and Poland. Germany was the first country to say, we'll be the lead nation for an EFP battle group, and we'll go to Lithuania. They were the first ones. And it was amazing to watch the pressure then on all the other allies, like, oh, dang, the Germans are doing it, we're going to have to do it. And that, to me, was such a powerful example of the leadership potential that Germany has within the alliance and in Europe.